Good morning, everyone. It's Janet Wakeland with Remarkably Created, and in today's pop-up video, we are going to take a moment to revisit the beautiful birthday card organizer kit from Stampin UP. We're going to take a look at some tips and ideas for using it. We're going to look at some other ideas besides birthday cards, and we're going to look at approximately how many cards you might be able to put into this amazing organizer. So, just as a quick refresh for those who missed the unboxing video, this is a new kit from Stampin UP's Kits collection. It does come already spiral bound, and you'll see the pockets inside in just a second. It does come in this nice, beautiful, sturdy box that you'll be able to use to gift wrap the organizer if you're planning to give it away. If not, it's a great storage box, or it's great for other holiday gifts that you have to give. It does come with full color instructions, and it does come with the supplies to make 12 greeting cards, and I'll show you these in real life. You'll be able to make 6 of each with self-adhesive greetings, die cuts. You'll have different sequins, dimensionals, glue dots, as well as pre-printed envelopes, pre-printed note cards, as well as the elements. So let's bring this kit back in. And let me start first with just some general ideas, some general tips for use. So it is called a birthday card organizer, but let's not let that word birthday pigeonhole this amazing organizer. You can use this organizer to organize your tax receipts. You can use it for recipes. You could use it for baby's first year. You could use it to organize like bridal, as a bride is getting ready, as a wedding planner. You could use it to organize your business for different months. So there's lots of possibilities. Also, of course, you can use it for birthday cards, or you can simply just use it as a greeting card organizer itself. And I'm sure that there's other great ideas out there for teachers as planners and things like that. So if you have other great ideas, please share them away. I will be using mine for business receipts and things. I also happen to purchase another one that I will be using to organize my business, and that one will go from October through September. But because I'm going to be using this one for business receipts, tax receipts, and things like that, I've started at January. So my first tip is on the cover. It's beautiful all by itself. But because I'm not using mine, I'm not going to be using these elements to be making 12 cards. I decided to dress it up starting right at the cover. I used one of the die cuts provided to alter and break up the flowers on the cover just a little bit. And then some more of the elements provided in the kit. And then I used a blending brush just to add a little bit more color to the flowers. So there's lots of fun things that you can do right there. And again, because I'm not going to be using mine as a greeting card organizer, and I'm only going to make a handful of the cards, I want to use the elements in lots of other fun ways. Again, I took some of the extra embellishments to decorate this. So you have this really nice, big, sturdy spiral bound. It's actually double rings through the openings. Nice, heavyweight cardstock. You have an extra pocket front. You have an extra pocket back, and then you have 12 pockets equating to 12 months of the year. Again, this one I started as January. My business one starts in October. If you were doing this for maybe a teacher planner, you might start it with August. If you're doing it with a bridal wedding planner, you might start with the month that you give it, ending with the month that the wedding is in. If you're doing it for baby's first year, again, start with the month the baby was born, the baby was born, ending with their first birthday. So you've got those 12 pockets, okay? So, a couple of tips for using and assembly. I thought I was gonna, I saw this and I got ready to play because I love to embellish and decorate, journals and calendars and things like that. And so I saw this big empty space, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use some of the elements and I'm going to decorate. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but the moment you start to put your cards in there, you start to put your receipts, your papers, this is literally wasted. You can't see it, okay? So my first tip is not to put anything up in here. You're not going to see it, okay? And to put your months down here, there's still plenty of room for this. My other tip is, because I'd like to use this more than 1 year, what I did was I cut a piece of window sheet, and I can now use a write-on wipe-off pencil, or I can use a grease pencil to make notes on these different dates, because things change. You know, if I was using this for a greeting card organizer and I want to get more than 1 year use out of it, and somebody's getting married January 22nd and I had that written in here, well, next year in 2024, if I start this in January 2023, there may not be a wedding on that date. So I cut a piece of window acetate, and I have a hole punch somewhere that's like this. It's probably with all the business stuff my husband's using for family things right now. So since I didn't have a hole punch, it actually works out well. I can show you how I was able to punch that in. So I cut a piece of cardstock that's 8 inches by 6.5, and 6.5 is actually a little bit big. It goes over this little flap here, so you could probably get by with 6.6 1/4. And after I cut that 8 inches by 6.5, I laid it down next to the rings, and I just made little tick marks with a marker. And then I went ahead and hole punched equal with those, and then I just cut in. So this could easily be pulled out. It's just pushed right in there. But it gives me a chance to write on this and use it over and over again, hopefully in the coming years, okay? So then my next tip for you is, with your cards, at least your standard 8.5 by 5.5 cards, is to leave them open and put them in an envelope like this and put them down in. And I'll show you why in just a few seconds. But it does help reduce the amount of thickness of that card if you open it up flat. Now this works great for cards that are 8.5 by 5.5, but I do a lot of my cards, let me see if I have one here, what we call the hot dog cut, so 11 inches by 4 1/4. And the problem, let's take these ones out, with a card this size is it does stick out from the top. Now, it's not necessarily an issue if you're putting it on your shelf this way and you've got space above it, but it could be an issue in that these cards are always getting bumped and dinged up a little bit. So in that case, you may need to fold them if you have cards that you do long cut, okay? But any card that you do this way, I would go ahead and open them up because you're going to get a little bit more. Right now, I have 2 cards that have been assembled. Now, these ones are not raised up. There's no thick embellishments on them at all. And there's 10 more of them. So I have the 12 cards in it, and I'm going to hold it up so that you can see that there is a little bit now of push, okay? But there's still plenty of room to add some more. So now let's go ahead and let's start to fill this, and let's see about the volume of cards. So we'll just, and these ones I'm not going to open the whole way, because again, almost all of my cards, I'd say 90% of my cards are done hot dog cut. So we're going to leave them folded. Plus it'll help us see this a little bit. And these cards have got bows, they've got layers, they've got dimensionals. So right now I'm just putting 3 of these thick ones in each one. The other thing that's nice is our slimline cards do fit nicely down inside of there. So let's do 3 more there. Let's just keep going. And I've got 3 here. And as I'm putting these in, another thought is if you wanted to use this as a general card organizer, you could simply not use these. You could create some tags using these pieces here, and you could write like the word birthday, thank you, sympathy, get well, and you could have themes, baby cards, adult birthday, kid birthday, and you could come up with 12 fun themes, and you could use that. Or if you happen to do calligraphy or have beautiful handwriting, you could obviously use that. Of course, you could use an alphabet stamp set, alphabet dies as well, to put the theme of the greeting cards across here. But let's keep filling, let's keep stuffing into this folder. And in this case, I'm gonna put 5. And I've only gotten to September, but I just kind of want to start to show you. So we've got 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28. We have like 33 cards in here right now, okay? And it is starting to get full, but what you will notice as it's starting to get full is that there's still no stress on the covers in terms of it's not popping out of this anywhere whatsoever. So you could continue to add a bunch more cards. What I'm more worried about isn't the stress on the cover, it's the stress on these pockets here. So what I have found is I personally would not put more than, 3 cards in that section if they're really, really thick, okay? Just going the whole way through, and we're almost through to the end of the month, so I would not put more than 60 cards if they're really, really layered. Like I pulled cards that had, thicker layers, thicker papers. Some of them actually even have little springs on them. So 5 fancy ones max. And again, if you're going to add the envelopes, I probably wouldn't even do 60. I might stop at 48. When I'm starting to fill it with those different things that I'm going to put in it. So especially if you're going to do some themed birthdays or something like that, you might double up, with the birthday cards. Instead of making 12 birthdays and having that as one of your themes, if you're using this as a greeting card organizer, you might break down the themes of those birthdays: spring birthdays, winter birthdays, kid birthdays, man birthdays, whatever you want to call them, so that you don't have 12 thick cards in the birthday, but only 1 in the baby, if you know what I mean. So lots and lots of possibilities, guys, around this amazing organizer. Lots of things that you can do with it. So if you've personally already ordered one and received one and started stuffing it and decorating it and have tips that I didn't mention, I would love to hear your tips. I know others would love to hear them as well. If you're using yours for something else, I mentioned birthday card organizer, greeting card organizer, baby's first year, teacher's planner, obviously a college kid going off to school type planner, yearly tax receipts, general business organizer. But if you have yet other ideas, we would absolutely love to hear them. And then just as a reminder, this is from Stampin' Up's Kit Collection Program. Kits in the Kits Collection Program are while supplies last, and we do not know if they're going to be reordered. We don't get a heads up on that. So if this is something that you're like, oh, I've been hesitating, I would scoop it up because they've been extremely popular. Between the framed and festive set and the birthday card kit, these are the 2 things that new demonstrators have been adding to their kits this month. And the birthday card kit, I've had every one of my customer orders this month has included one of these so far. So they are extremely popular. So you want to scoop them up. But also when you're scooping up one for yourself, think about who else you would love to give this to as a gift. Decorating it up a little bit, filling it with some greeting cards, and then putting a sheet of postage stamps in here would make an extremely thoughtful gift for somebody who loves to send cards that maybe is homebound, on a fixed income, doesn't get out to the store very much, maybe has minimal space. They're living in the RV, they're living in college, they've downsized, whatever it is a very, very thoughtful gift to give. So I will link the shopping link above. And again, I look forward to hearing your tips and what you're doing with this amazing, really sturdy, really versatile organizer, guys. Thanks and have a great day.